Now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of what Indians are all about.
I still say we Indian people are believers in the truth. This is the way of life that was given to your people. You're born an Indian, you're going to die an Indian. Indianness is a good life. You're facing an Indian this afternoon.
Good Saturday afternoon out there, everyone, and welcome to your number one source for Native American television news, Native News Today. I'm your host, Jason Salzman, and as you can see, we're out of the studio this week. A little bit of a special program that we have for you here at Native News Today to sort of usher in a new day for us as some of the things that we're doing, some of the features and things that we'd like to have on the show. We have a roundabout session that we're really proud of that we introduced this past week called The Table. It's a roundtable discussion where we're going to be talking about our stories, and also we really want to have your citizen feedback, Muskogee Creek citizens, on what are the issues with the Muskogee Creek Nation that we want to talk about. We want to bring out on this table, and we want everybody to be a part of this that wants to. And so we've been asking for you to send in emails on social media this week. We'll have plenty more about this in the coming weeks. So I don't think you have to get it all this week from us, but we just wanted to put it on your radar, introduce this new segment. We're really proud of it, and I can't wait to show it today on the show and give you more of an idea of what we're talking about as far as the roundtable format and what that's going to look like. Also, we sat at the table this week with Mr. Jerry McPeak. He is the tax commissioner here at the Muskogee Creek Nation. He's also an Oklahoma State representative up there in Oklahoma City too. So Mr. McPeak done that for many years, serving now under his third administration here at Muskogee Creek Nation as a tax commissioner. Recently was approved, confirmed by the council, and so he will be tax commissioner for the next 4 years. But we had him on the set here on the table, and was able to talk with him about some things about his background and really his next 4 years as tax commissioner. So all of that, don't go anywhere. We're so glad to be bringing you this special edition of Native News Today. We'll be right back after this first break.
We believe if you teach a man to fish, you can feed him for a lifetime. We believe that transitioning convicted citizens back into our communities enhances public safety. We believe that every citizen, even ex-prisoners, are important and are capable of change. We believe in reclaiming our citizens and investing them back into a culture that embraces healing and restoration.
We believe
in reintegration.
Looking for your next 18-hole adventure? Then take a look at Fountainhead Creek Golf Club. Nestled in the beautiful confines of Lake Eufaula State Park, large sloping greens and well-placed bunkers characterize the Muskogee Creek Nation's Floyd Farley designed course and offers a fine test of skill for any golfer. Stay up on all the latest gear and equipment with a visit to our pro shop. Have lunch at the Turn at the Clubhouse Grill. We're waiting to accommodate you at Fountainhead Creek. Give us a call at 918-689-3209 or visit fountainheadgolf.com to book your next round. Fountainhead Creek Golf Club, close to home, far from ordinary.
It's more than just an associate degree. It's a life-changing experience.
You'll see a lot of cultural features here on the campus. You'll see a symbol of the mound, which goes back to the history of Muskogee people as being in that Mississippian time period, that mound building society. That really welcomes our students whenever they first get here.
The college in itself is beyond the building, is the people.
They're passionate, very passionate about what they teach, and it shows whenever they're teaching.
The instructors and the administration, they really believe in their students here.
After a couple classes, I began to notice that it kind of felt as if I were returning back to something that had been lost for like a long time. As I learned more about the history of my people, to discover that there were very many great people that did a lot of good things for their people, for their nations, and that those people were American Indian and Native American, it kind of brings out a sense of pride that was not really there before.
There is a future for our people.
And welcome back to Native News Today as we get started with our features for this week. Obviously in a new setting, but that's because we wanted to introduce our new series, our new segment idea that we had tried last week, and that is The Table. We're going to show that to you now. It was myself, Sterling Cosper, Gary Fife, Jessica McBride, all members of Muskogee Media, all doing different things. Jessica is media coordinator, Sterling, of course, editor of the Muskogee Nation News, and Gary Fife, a columnist for that paper, as well as the host and producer of Muskogee Radio, the program of the Creek Nation that airs on local radio here in Altmaugaee every week. But we got together, wanted to talk about this new segment, introduce it to the folks, and we basically just did this sort of as a rough draft. This was one take. We just kind of sat down and started, and when we got the content, we said that'd be good to pass along. But we want this to be citizen-driven. We want more citizens to be involved in this roundtable discussion, and that's why we're showing it. We want you out there, and we'll give you that information after the story, but to be involved. But this is The Table. So one of the things we've been talking about most of the time in our production meetings and staff meetings at Muskogee Media is coming up with new advanced ways to reach our audience and to keep the content fresh and something that is going to be at their fingertips through social media, keep them engaged. And one of the things we've talked about is a new roundtable segment. I think that's what we're really, we see that in other journalism shows where they're talking about their stories. I think it would be great. It's an opportunity to sort of pull back the curtain and let them see our creative process, our practical process to get these stories out.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, and I think it's a good way to build trust, to show how we handle and process information and approach our sources.
It's going to add some real solid basis to the kind of material we turn out, kind of a look behind the scenes at the story behind the story. And I think people enjoy seeing that one, but it can tell you so much more about the subject matter.
I think it's an opportunity too, Jessica, and you and I had talked about this, to basically take the experience of a production meeting and have all of those things that you know make up that final print story that you see. We take that to the viewer. I think there's value in that.
I think there is, and it'll help get citizens involved too. I mean, the aspect of how we do things, why we do things the way we do, I think citizens would really enjoy that.
You know, Sterling, as an editor, I think one of the things, you know, of a newspaper, okay, in 2016, you got to come up with things other than having just, you know, pull out the physical paper. There's got to be ways to engage that audience, reach them. So with sort of putting a face on the process, you think that kind of satisfies that for the people that are following us digitally?
Well, absolutely, and I think we've made big gains addressing that initial concern all around just this week. You and I have integrated TV and the paper together. You know, we were setting this whole thing up on Instagram. And ultimately, as far as building that trust, like I said earlier, it's important to put sometimes a face to a byline too, to know who's writing your news, and that isn't always easy with newspaper, just with the hard copy. So,
Gary, you get a lot of people when you're out and about at festivals, events, things you're covering, recognize you as Gary Fife that writes the stories, but has sort of an interest in your process or in yourself as an individual.
I've run across that. First of all, it's very flattering. It's kind of nice to know people are paying attention to what you produce and what you care about. Funny thing is, I get more questions about my column in the newspaper, Emma Benaya, than anything else. Like, where do you come up with this weird stuff? And I said, well, you know, do like Will Rogers, just read the papers and tell you what I see. But it's nice for them to talk to me about the radio show, Muskogee Radio also. Like, I really enjoyed the interview with the chief. I'm glad you did it. I think by those kinds of methods and those subjects, we really are reaching our constituency and delivering a product there. So I'm pretty proud of it.
All right, well, let's get down to business. What is our biggest story this week that we're working on, you guys?
Well, we just wrapped up, you know, coverage of one fire, Muskogee Nation Business Enterprise. Probably the next story we need to go after is Muskogee International. You know, they were funded by MNBE. We learned that in our MNBE coverage, and just showing citizens what they do for economic development.
Anybody jump in, feedback from the citizens so far from these stories?
This particular direction is never been seen before. And I think it does wonders for our citizens to draw back that veil of secrecy, if you will, and let them know where their money's going, how it's being used, what kind of businesses are we engaged in. I'm sure there are people who have all kinds of feelings about doing security in the Middle East, you know, like what are we doing there, or this sort of thing. But by bringing those faces and those numbers out, I think they're pleased in finding out. Well, you know, I wanted to know this for such a long time. And that goes along. A perfect example of what we're trying to do is freedom of the press. You know, I don't want to wave that banner too much, but this has always been our objective: is to inform our citizens of really what matters to them. You know, the budget, money, where are we being invested, who are we doing business with.
I think too is we are not only check ourselves as far as are we satisfying that need of the citizens for this kind of information, how well are we executing it? You think we've given them enough, or do you think they're, you know, do you think with our coverage and our stories and the financials that we've been given without a FOIA, you think it's enough for them, or you think we need to dig a little deeper with that FOIA?
Well, gosh, you know, it's awful early, you know. Without waving that banner too much, we've only had it for so long, so a lot of these pieces are new. We're trying to gauge the impact on social media, but man, people watching right now are more than welcome to go on there, post in our comments section, inbox us and call us and let us know, you know, critique us a little bit and let us know what their needs are.
You know, one of the coolest things about this opportunity with the roundtable is we're going to be able to not only discuss stories like we have, but we're going to be able to, you know, plug in citizens, community members, tribal leaders, things like that into this segment, into this setting, to where we have real conversations. We have real-time conversations about real issues. I think that'll take us to another level as far as some of the coverage that we provide, because we are just an avenue to get citizens and government, you know, to basically have that relationship, and I think that'll show it.
I think that'll be really cool too, because you know what, one of the things I keep saying is that we need to be the voice of the people, especially when we're out covering stories and stuff, and so this will actually give us an avenue to have citizens on, and so their voice is heard.
Yeah, it's definitely that next step. I mean, we're engaging them on social media, but if we involve them in the process, you know, as much as I enjoy all your company, of course we plan to mix it up.
Well, Gary, I think on Muskogee Radio, you've had citizens call in, so they've got something to say.
And I think that's important to hear that voice. It kind of puts a fresh aspect on things. It gives us a new way to perhaps view things and examine things. Reminder that, wait a minute, you know, there's still a job yet to be done, and that personal reaction from citizens is critical, I think, and keeps us well grounded.
Absolutely. Well, we are, you know, we want the citizens to know their concerns, their questions, their needs from the government are our highest priority. We will put that in place by getting that message out there unfiltered, as Gary said, have them in talking with their own voices on camera. It can be very invaluable for this department, I think. So we will keep doing that. We will keep everyone informed. And guys, thank you for being with us here on this first roundtable.
Well, for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, a new segment idea that we have. We hope that you enjoyed that, and really, we want citizens to be involved in that segment. We want it to be citizen-driven. We don't want to be in it so much. We want people to sit down and talk about the things that they're passionate about with this nation, the issues that they see need discussion. We want them to talk with other citizens, with tribal officials, people that head up these departments. That's what the table's about. If you want to be a part of it as a citizen or an official, please email us. Go to Facebook, go to our social media sites to see that information. You can email us, you can contact Muskogee Media. It's all on our outlets. Well, as I said in the opener, we had Jerry McPeak, the tax commissioner from Muskogee Creek Nation, now going to serve in that stead under his third administration here, also serving as state representative for many years. I believe it's 11 years state representative here in Oklahoma. So Jerry does a great job for the state of Oklahoma, also for the Muskogee Creek Nation, and upon his confirmation, we wanted to highlight this executive officer. Mr. McPeak, you know, you're in a very unique situation being a state legislator and also in the tribal government here in the Muskogee Creek Nation and a tribal citizen. So you see things from many different angles. My first question to you would be talk about the similarities and the differences in the two governments that you have to work with, and really how it's shaped the way that you do things policy-wise and the way you look at things when issues arise.
You're talking about the way you look at things. First, being tribal probably gives you a different perspective and a better perspective, I think, than folks who maybe aren't. We take care of our kids. We were really good as Indians to take care of our kids. We're really good to take care of our adults, our older folks, and we're going to do that come heck or high water. The state and the Fed kind of tries to do it, but as Indians, we do it. I think it gives me a better perspective. In comparison from one government to another, the tribal government has actually done a better job over the last few years than our state government has as far as running their business and growing themselves economically, what the state has. It certainly gives you a different perspective. You recognize that the tribes are the number 3 industry in Oklahoma. I mean, there's agriculture, there's oil and gas, and there's the tribes. And anyone that doesn't want to acknowledge that better catch up pretty quick, because, not meaning a pun, but we are an economic engine.
Yeah, and you said 3 things there, one being the tribes, one being oil and gas. Oil and gas not doing so well right now. State of Oklahoma, hand in hand, ain't doing so well as well with budget concerns. Do you see that at any point affecting compact negotiation with tribes, and when we go back to the table for those?
You know, I think that's a rather complex question. First, I'm going to say that the problem that the state has economically right now with their budget isn't because of oil and gas.
Right.
That's what some folks would like to tell you. It's from poor management.
Right.
We've done a stellar job over the last 10 years. We've taken tax cuts. We've given away money to big oil companies at a time when they didn't really need it. $130 a barrel of oil, they didn't need an incentive to drill. They're going to punch a hole in the ground where the oil is. We're paying them an incentive to horizontally drill, which is the only way they drill anyhow. So we made some really bad business decisions. Tax cuts, when we took the highest tax people, went from 7.25 to 5%. We cut their taxes by, what is that, 30% or something like that? So we did bad management. And they're like alcoholics. An alcoholic, until he's willing to say that I'm an alcoholic, can't get fixed. Until the people in Oklahoma City at the state capitol are willing to say, we messed up, they can't fix it because they're not willing to say we messed up. This morning I went to a meeting at the Tulsa Chamber, and there was a senator, Senator Mazie, who surprised me when he said, hey, we got to roll the tax cuts back before we do anything else because we messed up. So we don't have a problem in state government because of oil and gas only. We have a problem because we had poor management for 10 years.
Go ahead, Jessica. You jump in here.
What do you see coming down the pipeline for this next term as tax commissioner?
As far as things that we're going to, you know, one of our goals since I've been there, I arrived and when Chief Ellis called me over one day, and I told him when we're working on tobacco compact. I'd worked on the tobacco compact with him and Mike Flood forever. And I said, you know, if there's anything I can do to help you, let me know. And so they would. And so he called and said, Jerry, I need you to come over Monday morning or Tuesday morning, wherever it was. I'll show up and go over there. And he says, here's the keys to the back door, and here's the keys to the front door. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
Right.
So that's how I became the tax commissioner. So when I went in, I just observed for a long time and didn't have much to say. And as y'all know, I'm kind of a fun-loving kind of guy. And it was kind of hard for me to kind of sit back there and watch. But I wanted to improve the way we conducted our business. We want folks to want to come into the tag office or come in the tax commission and want to come back tomorrow whether they want a tag or not. They don't even need a tag, they ought to want to come back because it was so much fun, it's so much enjoyable. And we think we've made a lot of progress in that. I'm very pleased with the ladies and the job that they do. And sometimes we have people who get upset, but most of the time when that is because we have a sign behind the counter that says, do whatever you can to fix the problem unless it's illegal. And normally when we can't fix it, it's because it's something we can't do from a legal standpoint. We just can't do that. And so I'm proud of that. We did the data recently, and we're getting 50% more income off our tags now than we were 5 years ago when I started. 50% more income from our tags now than we were 5 years ago when we started. This last year with the tobacco compact, the tribe itself to go in the general revenue fund, we took in over $1 million more than we had the year before. Not $1 million total, but $1 million more than we had the year before. Along with that, because of the compact, we're also able to keep another $1 million within our tribal boundaries that either the citizens got to keep, that cigarettes were cheaper, or the communities got to keep, or the people who own the smoke shops got to keep. Someone, somewhere, it didn't go to the state government, it stayed with us, and we think that's pretty good cost. That's over $2 million we kept on there. That's different from the year before. So we're pretty pleased with those things too. But I like the service that our people do. I think our ladies are doing a great job over the phone and serving people, and we like that awfully well. And as far as things to come, we are looking into utilizing credit cards. I struggle with that. Some people call me tight. I like to call myself physically conservative. But it costs us like 3% to do that. So 3% of $10 million, I don't know where y'all come from, but that's a lot of money at my house. So we're kind of reluctant to do that unless we can find out a way to do it. But we are working on that.
We did a recent story with One Fire Holdings Company. They're excited about putting in CNG stations for the tribe. What's your excitement as far as the fuel tax opportunities with that?
Well, the fuel tax opportunity doesn't make me so much. I'm excited about putting in the CNG things, and I've been involved in that for years as well. That's a great thing to do. We don't notice the impact now as we did when gasoline was $3.50 a gallon. There's certainly not the impact there was at that time. CNG is not so important, but it will be again. So I love the prospect. Now, when you talk about fuel tax, that becomes a much more complex situation, and certainly one that we don't have time here to explain. But for us, ours is done on a population basis. The amount of Creek Indian citizens we have as compared to the number of all the Native Americans in Oklahoma. It gets to be really complicated. And right now, and that is supposed to be done, it rolls over automatically at the end of June, not only for us, but for most of the other tribes in Oklahoma. Right now, for us, it's pretty much a slam dunk that we want to keep it the way it is, because our sales volume on the fuel is not to the level that we want to trade out with them just on solid tax.
A lot of people on the state level have been talking about increasing tobacco taxes. What will that do for our compact with the state?
You don't ask any simple questions. You guys, everything you guys, I like yes and no really well, but that's not a simple question. You wish it were simple. It should be simple. It's my opinion, both as a state representative and as the Creek Tax Commissioner, that the way the compact reads, it says that our tribe and all the other tribal compacts are in the same way. It's a percentage of the tobacco tax. So therefore, in my opinion, if the state raises the tobacco tax, then we should get our percentage, the tribe should get their percentage of that tobacco tax. However, within that Capitol building up there, that cement that's beginning to fall down, they say, there are some legal minds there that say, well, if it's earmarked, which it is right now for health care, or it's earmarked for transportation, or it's earmarked for education, if it's earmarked for something, then the tribes don't get their percentage of that extra tax. I don't think that's what the compact says, but there are some legal minds that say that's what it says. So, and I, be very candid, I went into the governor's office and I want to say warned them, but I told them that if you think Custer thought he saw a lot of Indians, you could try to pull that deal and run that tobacco tax without the tribes getting what they're supposed to. I think they'll see an onslaught at the Capitol.
Still feel like we got the best tobacco compact in the state?
Sir, we have the best tobacco compact. There's some things I think, and there's some things I know, and that's one thing I know. We've got the data we can show you for at each time slot period. We are able to retain more than, we either have the best number or we're tied for the best number at every period they go through there. So, yes, sir, we have the best tobacco compact.
Why do you think you were chosen as tax commissioner? Why do you think that Chief Floyd nominated you?
I suppose that's something you have to ask Chief Floyd. I came through Chief Ellis' administration. He's the one that nominated me to start off with, and I was approved with him. You just asked a while ago, we're 50% above on our tags. There's not 50% more cars being sold. We're 50% above our income level 5 years ago. Tobacco compact. I think some might want to make it a disadvantage in the fact that I'm in the state, as I'm a state representative, and it's an advantage. It's a huge advantage. I mean, I was in the governor's office yesterday, for gosh sakes. How many people can walk in there and make a phone call and walk in there, and how many people can go see the Secretary of State like right now? And as a matter of fact, just 30 minutes ago, I made an appointment for Chief Floyd to meet with Senator Langford on Monday. So that's kind of an advantage. Why I was chosen, I hope it's because I do a good job, and I hope it's because I can get along with the folks and do the job really well. It's certainly my goal to do those things. And this is going to sound corny, but it really is an honor. I mean, it's very humbling to be chosen by 3 different chiefs to serve. That's a humbling thing, and I've always been the kid that ever since I was little, I always liked being Indian, and it's even prouder when you get to kind of work there.
That'll do it for another episode of Native News Today. Want to thank you all for joining us here on Tulsa CW 1219. Love having you every week. You know, we know it's a different setting, not in the studio. We'll get back in the studio. We assure you that. But this week we wanted to really just talk about our new segment. Wanted to get some steam going and build up for that because we want the citizens, I can't say it enough, we want the citizens to come in and be a part of this format. I know for a lot of our citizens, you know, it's not about you. You don't like to be on camera. We understand that, but at the same time, it is about the issues, and this table, this discussion can do so much for our government to citizen relations and really us as the media. That's the greatest thing we can do. So that's part of doing our job, and that's why we wanted to come up with this segment. So please get a hold of us. Go to our social media sites, email Muskogee Media, or call us Muskogee Media. You can find all of that information online, Creek homepage, or go to our social media sites. As I said, that information is all on there, and we'd love to have you. We want the feedback. We've already heard from some people that love the format. They say we love it. We love the idea. We just need them to come and be a part of it. Even our at-large citizens that are so important to us through YouTube. Our channel is such a thriving thing that we have going right now. We're really seeing a lot of great feedback and response on the YouTube channel. So we hear you, at-large citizens. We know you're out there, and we know you're very passionate about the Creek Nation living outside of the boundaries. So we want you to be a part of it too, and we have the technology to get you involved as well. So with all that being said, please go visit our YouTube channel. Check out our online content. We're updating almost daily now. We got things up there all the time. So please go check that out. Also, our Facebook and Twitter pages. We're seeing a lot more response on there, and that's been great. Muskogee Media, great things ahead for us. We've got some exciting things happening here. We cannot wait to show you guys and unveil here in the next month or so. I really think you're going to be excited about it too. For Jared Moore, Devaney Luxinger, all of us at Native News Today, thank you so much for being us with this special episode, and we'll see you guys next Saturday.